poker trade in this market? A typical poker trade is all in.
You mean bet the balance sheet type?
Bet the balance sheet type of trade?
You know, I'm sure there is one, and I keep looking for it. In my mind, it would be in the media sector. I mean, if I look at some of the market caps of the media companies that are listed, you know, I scratch my head. I mean, you wake up at night saying this can't be true. I don't want to mention the names because some of them will be your rivals, some will be other companies. But if you just look as an aggregate basket, I mean, there was a time when you could have bought one of the most famous IPOs in India, or you could have bought all the entire FMCG basket. You know, and
yeah,
you could
back in 2008.
Yeah, I don't want to mention names again. Right? It was, you know,
we've had this conversation in the past.
And now we're the same thing. If you just look at the market caps of all the media companies in India, this is a country of 1 billion people. Media is, you know, you don't want a television set without something coming on it. You don't want a TV screen without a movie to show on it, all right? And people are just treating this as dirt. So there's a tremendous risk-reward ratio in your favor. Now, things have to go right. You know, people have to understand digitization. You know, things will get delayed, whatever. But I think if you're believing in this middle-class theory of mine, you know, I think media is a great trade. It's, you know, it's time to, you know, load up on these stocks, as I say.
So if liquor stocks made you rich in the previous bull market, are you confident that media stocks will make you rich in the next bull market?
I'm hoping. You know, the first thing about great investing is you don't want to lose money. And if I go through some of the companies, I find it hard to believe that I can lose money in those things. Then I look at what is the probable scenario. I told you carriage costs will come down, subscription revenues will increase, add to GDP buoyancy ratio will come in. And nothing of that is in the price. The only price is reflecting the current status, which has been bad. Some of them in price reflect. And these are great brand names. Once a brand name is established, you can't get into those businesses, whether it's in DTH, whether it's in advertising, or whether it's a television brand. I mean, you cannot get competitors very easily out there. So, you know, I think it's, from my perspective, you know, a sweet trade.
So media is more like a structural investment. What about cyclical trades? What about cyclical bargains?
You keep looking. I mean, I'm not particularly great at timing the market. In cyclical stocks, as you know, that you need to be a good timer of the market. You need to understand cement cycle has bottomed out, it's going up. We tend to look for more secular stories over periods of time. You know, can airlines, there's something secular changing in airlines or not? You know, I mean, you want to, you know, kind of go through that kind of.
Are you still invested in airlines?
I sold out Jet, which did very well for myself. I have Spice, which has come down dramatically in price. I got out of Kingfisher. Unfortunately, you know, I think it's a great sector to bet in, but I still can't see headroom there. I mean, the government has not given them FDI permission. The air tariff fuels haven't come down, right? At some point, it's going to be a great trade. I'm not sure it's this quarter or next quarter, maybe next year out there. I am of the firm belief that capitalism prices everything. At a price, I can buy anything. And these stocks are trading almost at liquidation valuation. And I can't believe that India will grow and prosper as a country without an aviation sector, all right? We're not going to go back to train travel. So ultimately, these guys will have to return, capital.
Why did you sell Jet then?
I just made a good amount of money in it. You know, the lows, it was 150, with that implied a market cap of 1,200 crores. So the entire Jet network, it's a brilliant airline. I fly it all the time. It's, you know, the planes run on time, they're efficient, the crew runs. You go to Brussels, they've taken over Terminal 2 out there. So it's an absolutely fabulous airline, getting it at a knock-bottom rate. The only problem is that I just don't see a pathway to profitability yet. You know, maybe the industry will shake out in the next 6 months, and you'll see a pathway to profitability. But I'm convinced the long-term future of aviation is extremely bright.
Which is one stock you are holding from last 10 years, and you're reasonably confident that you will not sell that stock for next 10 years?
I can't say what I may or may not do. You know, markets change very rapidly.
As of today.
But I've had a good bet in the Godrej Group. You know, I have exposure to Godrej Consumer, Godrej Industries, Godrej Properties. Godrej Properties I'm particularly sweet on because, you know, I'm very bullish on the property sector from the prices they are. And if you believe this consumption story and the kind of land banks they have, this will roll out year after year, almost predictable certain earnings, you know. The market at some point will understand the value of the land bank and the value of the, you know, business plans they have. I've had a number of finance companies, Sundaram Finance, Karur Vysya Bank for the last 15, 20 years. and I have no intention of selling them because these are slow compounders. They keep, delivering money. But, those are the compounders portfolios. You want to look for the stars of the portfolio, the next McDowell's, the next UBBers, then go up 30, 40x, because that's what really, lights up a fire under investors. So hopefully the media will shine out. There is some evidence that smart money is moving into that sector.
What makes you bullish on Godrej Properties? It's a real estate stock, and the minute you say real estate, the response is, nah, that sector.
Good. That means there's value. And also, in a sector that was down 30-40% last year, the stock practically was up 50%. So you look at the beta. But the key thing to understand about them is that they have an enormous land bank in Vikhroli, which is owned by Godrej and Boyce, but which is going to be monetized by them. So they'll get the development fee of 10% of that, right? So a steady income. They'll become a pan-India player. So this is going to go up, any number of management interviews say we're going to go up 10x in 10 years. Those are the numbers they're stating. And here you have a pedigree of management that is unquestioned, right? So I have no risk, which we have with a number of other stocks. If they deal in cash, if they,
balance sheet is clean.
The balance sheet is clean. They have very clear visibility on the projects. They have very lean machines, so they outsource everything except for the sales and marketing. Architecture is outsourced, construction is outsourced to Larsen & Toubro. And ultimately, housing has a great future in India. So if you look at Hang Seng, you look at a lot of other property companies always on the dominates an index. So I think Godrej Property will do well over a period of time. I think it will go through its rough patches, but I think given the size and execution of the projects, they will probably do well.
When you buy a stock, do you have a price target in mind?
Not really. I feel, for example, that a company should be $1 billion company or a $5 billion company or maybe $500 million company, But, typically I'm a bad seller, Nikunj. I mean, I like to buy cheap and, I actually like to believe I can hold a stock forever. It just so happens sometimes the market prices the stock beyond reasonable. I'll give you an example. I had, the last bear market, we bought a huge slug of UB beer. At some point last year, the price was 600, which is 100 times earnings. I mean, I sold some. I still have some, but I sold some. At 100 times earnings, companies growing at 20%. It's pretty hard to keep those. The temptation is too strong. So it's not that I'm not bullish on the beer business. I don't think the consumption will go up. It's just that at 100 times earnings for a company growing at 20%, I can't justify the valuation.
Your son Ashok, he's just finished his graduation, eligible bachelor. So, which are the 3 stocks you would like to gift Ashok on his marriage? you present a family of stocks.
Maybe his father-in-law should do that.
What's the wisdom you would like to impart to your son? Because I know he's interested in financial markets.
He is. I think we both share a like for the media stocks, as I told you, because he's also lived abroad. He understands the power of the media, right? They're enormously powerful vehicles, so he put in there. We understand finance, so while they're going through a rough time, we've bought a lot of housing finance companies. Group Finance is not cheap. It's 6 times earnings, 6 times book, so it's not cheap.
6 times book?
Yeah, it's maybe 4 or 5. Yeah. But something, it's not cheap, but within that grew Sundaram Finance. He particularly likes, for whatever it's worth, he likes a company called Ashiana Housing, which is a small mid-cap housing development company out there. I think more than trying to part a stock, he has to figure out, make his own mistakes in life and learn from his own lessons in life. What I'm trying to teach him is the value of buying a great business, the value of going through the balance sheet, doing your homework, and trying to buy cheap. At the end of the day, if you buy it cheap, I think 90% of risk is gone. So I think rather than bequeath a particular stock or my own set of ideas to him, I'd rather bequeath the principles that have made great investors. That is, buy cheap, buy a great business, think as an owner, and if you compound at 20%, you're actually going to become very rich.
Appreciate your time, Mr. Damani. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, Nikunj.